Hey everyone, it's Louise Hopkin here from the Space Reclaimers. We are finally live. We were supposed to go live last night, but we had some technical difficulties, but we won't go into that too much. So we've got Lori Olijnyk with us.
Yeah.
What's that?
You put your mute button on. Just get that out there.
Yeah, exactly. So with me tonight is Lori Olijnyk, who's a realtor with Remax, and she's been a realtor for 7 years. So thanks for coming on tonight, Lori.
My pleasure.
Excellent. So what we're going to talk about tonight is the top requests buyers have when they're looking to buy a new home. And now being the busiest time of year, there's going to be a lot of competition out there. So I think any tips you can give us would be great, and any advice. So tell us what's the most requests for people ask for when they're looking for a house?
Well, probably the top 4 asks from the buyers is they're looking for location, size of the home, storage, and of course, lots of light is always a big request. So like you said, we are going into our busiest time of the year. The top closing date is the end of June. So things are really moving right now. There's a lot of competition. And as a seller, you want to be the best presented house out there, because the quicker you sell, probably the closer to your ask price you're going to get. The longer on the market, the little more stale you get. People are wondering what's wrong. So big thing is to focus, especially on storage. People are downsizing and using less space as our, as real estate becomes more and more expensive. We're living in a more compact lifestyle, and it's super important to have that storage looking like it can handle a family or the new people coming in.
Perfect. Excellent. And so how do you feel do you think decluttering, obviously being a home organizer, I'm huge into decluttering. So why do you think it helps to declutter the home? Do you suggest taking away personal items, and why? Yeah,
absolutely. You want to declutter, first of all, because it presents the house in a better light, and people are better able to envision themselves in your house. They don't want to see, when they're looking at family photos and knickknacks from Florida, it's a little more difficult for them to envision themselves in that space. So you want to make it as amenable to them as possible. So things like clutter need to be gone, and not just packed in a box and put in the garage, but get it out of there. It's and you're moving anyway, so why wouldn't you recycle or I know you have a shredding service that I've taken advantage of, and there's, services like that are very, very important when you're getting ready to sell. You're not taking all that stuff with you anyways. So now is the perfect time. So
that's a really good point.
Yeah, you have a seller's package, do you not, Louise?
I do. Yes, and that's what the really good point that you said about you're moving anyway, right? So why not get organized sooner rather than later? And one thing I help people with is I can take stuff away for donation for them, so it's not sitting in a pile. And it was a really good point about don't just hide it in closets and garages, because people are going to see it, right? So and that's the only time I would suggest, if people do have so much stuff they can't quite get rid of it and it will be needed in the new home, is to maybe get a storage unit for a couple of weeks or something. Just get it off the property. And my packages help with that, right? So we can go in and organize. Every house is different, but we have so many hours, and then, we sort into donation, keep, and sell, that kind of thing. So yeah, I find it really helps. And do you find that doing that, you sort of, the houses sell quicker, and do you usually obtain a better price for it, or?
Well, absolutely. According to the National Association of Realtors, they released a profile of home staging, which includes, decluttering and organizing, especially kitchens and bathrooms. But only 44% of sellers agents recommend decluttering and organizing only. They don't even look at staging. That's how important decluttering and organizing is, and cleaning. Obviously, nobody wants to move into your mess, but yes. So that is the top. The next closest one, that was 44% of recommendations. The next closest one was 34%. So, by a wide margin, it's the most recommended process, right, to getting your home sold. And it doesn't have to be an overwhelming project, especially when you have a few tips and someone to lead you through it. So.
For sure. So actually that's really interesting, because I always thought staging, it used to be the biggest thing, right? Like it was always kind of the first recommended. And I think now you've noticed it's changed towards decluttering and organizing as a more cost effective, more efficient way of doing it, or?
Yeah. When the stagers that I work with the property you already have in your house. So they don't want to be tripping over your boxes and toys and stuff too, and they will arrange the furniture, and a lot of times they'll tell you, take the couch out and only leave the love seat. And, they try to present your house to look as large as it possibly can, as large and bright. And, one of the pet peeves of my stager is that nothing can be on the floor in the closet or the pantry. So you think taking that out, and she comes through there, and you're moving it, and she's watching. So there's no just telling her yes.
No escaping it, hey. Well, and like you said, it's a really tough market out there. Our house, is it being tougher with the decline and stuff, or not? Have you noticed it's?
It's really picked up this year. Everybody, it's a breath of fresh air running through the city and probably the province. But we, it seems like we're coming out. Touch wood, quick. But, people are going back to work, and it's there's sort of a sigh of relief. And people have been looking or waiting to buy, thinking the bottom is coming. Seem to think, now we're there. Let's get moving. And the Calgary Real Estate Board has forecasted a very low growth, but still a growth in this next little period. So it's a good time.
Awesome, great.
So be the best one out there is the tip. So yeah.
Yes, that's perfect. I like it. I'm just seeing if there's any comments coming through. I see we have a few people watching us, so that's awesome. So what I wanted to say now was, how do we get in contact with you, Lori? Like, you have a web page and a Facebook page, your Calgary Property Network as well, I believe?
Yeah, Calgary Property Network is my website, as well as my corporate Facebook, so you can find me on there, and there's lots of tips and tricks. And I'm happy to take a call or send me an email or a text. I'm available all the time.
So what we could do is, if you wanted to put your contact details in the comments, so then people can get hold of you that way, hey?
Sure.
Awesome. All right. Well, I think that's, did you have anything else you wanted to add, or you're?
No, I think, the key things are, the rooms where you live, and then also, and you've probably said this before in past, but, even the man caves, you present it neatly. You can have a ton of tools and stuff in there, but present it in a neat way, because the woman has a lot of say in the purchase, and she does not appreciate oil stains and rags all over either. So why not get everything done up? So
yeah, and that's where, with being an organizer as well and helping with the declutter, I think it's a really cost-effective way of doing it, right? And it just presents, and people love it. And going back to what you said before, is that you're moving anyway, so let's just get it done. And we can do pre and post organizing as well, which we can help with the unpacking, which is, sometimes people leave it for 3 months and they've still got boxes left. So, so I think it works well. So thank you so much for that. And
thanks for having me.
Excellent. So hopefully we might do a few more of these videos, hey, with some more tips on selling. Yeah. And hopefully if people have any questions, they can just post it in the comments. We'll be around for the next half hour or so, and we're happy to answer any questions.
Yeah, absolutely. Bring them on.
Awesome. Thanks, Lori. Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Good night.